Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
The another foundation element in adaptive is versions, as we studied yesterday it is basically like a financial scenario in your model. It can be your actuals, or it can be a budget version. It can be a focus version also, but every version will have the data. It belongs to your account level and your whatever dimension and the time frame. As I said, that this particular significance of this number is the intersection between the account, between the time, between the level and the version. It is basically always a combination that you need to understand that for each version, this is the significance. And similarly, the template remains the same, only the version changes. This template will remain the same in actual version, also in budget, also in focus also. The account will be here, the time will be here, only the data will be changing. Right? You need to understand that for every particular version, you require the accounts, you require the time, you require the levels also. Then only you will be having certain kind of data in it. A version can be actuals and can be planned. Actual version, as we studied, it is always displayed in green color, and that means that it is the real number. It is basically the historical data. It is actually the actual data. That means that the data, whatever we have done the sales, whatever we have recorded the expenses, anything and everything that we have already captured in the system, it is actuals. Now, based on those actuals data, we are going to do certain kind of budgeting. We are going to do certain kind of a forecasting. We are going to create certain what if. That means these are all budget versions, or plan version, or forecast version. That's why it's called as a plan version, where you can have the data which belongs to your forecasting or your budgeting. Now, the only difference between actuals and plan is in actuals there is only one actual version, but in plan you can create a number of versions. That's why in order to tackle the version thing, you can see that in actuals, and these are all actuals, is in green color, and these are all your plan version. Basically, there is a folder type of option given to you, and it gives you to have a good presentation of your budget version. Basically, if your top-down approach is there, your bottom-up approach is there, you can create separate folders, and inside those separate folders, you can create your versions, and yes. Here, what we will try to create is, we will just try to create demo practice version, and that we will try to understand how you can create a folder, and you can just record the month-wise data, the XP. Based on my experience, the companies prefer to have certain data recorded in the last month, and it is used in the next month. Basically, what they prefer to do is they prefer a version month-wise, and they load the data from January onwards, from February onwards here, from March onwards here. Basically, they load the data and they create versions specific to that. This is a monthly version snapshot folder that we will be creating. 2010 and 22 will be here, and then there are several 12 months versions. Similar happens to 2023, and then a separate folder is created, and then the separate 12 line items are created. We will try to understand how it is created in adaptive. Basically, you understood how we can enter the version page. Let's say I'm just going to. You can see this option. Let's study one by one, and we will do this also. Here, there is no import template as such. We only have the manual way of creating version because this is a one-time activity. It does not have multiple things that needs to be done. It is just a one-time activity. Basically, the first is create new actual version. Whenever you get a fresh instance, everything is blank. There is nothing here. If you want to create an actual version, you need to create an actual one. But to be honest, we have already. We will not have another actual version. New journal entry version, it's used for journal entry data only. There is another feature called virtual version, which we will cover later on. Now you can see this. These options are disabled here. This is folder and this is plan. Because you are clicked on actual version, it is disabled. Now just click on top down and the rest is disabled and the other two are visible. Now can you see create new folder and create plan version? I will do create plan folder and it's got created. Here under top down. Just discard. I don't want it to be created here actually. Just name it as practice folder. The folder detail is practice. It's getting loaded. You can see practice folder is there now, it's coming under. But X analysis, right? It is coming under X analysis. Expand all, collapse all. We have this feature. I did not notice. This feature is nice. How can I change the roll up? Because we don't get the roll up option here. What is the left one besides the? No, it's a virtual. Click on create plan version. It's by default getting created here, the plan version. We had an option of plan version top side right. No, we will do that. Plan version plan. We just created a folder. Basically now if I create a plan version, let's say I'm going to name this as practice budget 2023 version. I will write this as a budget 23 as a short name. And you can see the additional features, or what do we call it, as parameters, that needs to be attached to your version. Basically, you are giving the rights that who can have the full access, which users and what kind of a sheets access for this version. Ideally, it is advisable to have this kind of a settings, which is full access for this. Full access for this because it should be visible in all the sheets. It should be visible for all the users. Suppose you are doing some kind of a focused activity which is only for CFO or something. There is a group called where you just want it to be accessible only for the board members. If you attach it to it groupman, what is coming group name and access level must both be selected for this access control. I was saying that if you assign it to a group, then this version that you created just now will only be available to the board members and not for all the users. If you don't select anything here, that means it is visible to all the users, everybody. This is basically like a security thing that you are giving to each version that you create in Adaptive with this. Whenever you understand that you want some kind of a security control over a version, then you need to understand that where you need to go and make the changes at the moment. I will just save it that it reflects correctly under the practice folder that we created. It will take some time. it is created. You created this name practice where you had a date created is there, and you control the access control here, where which users should have what kind of an access. Suppose the users, you should not give them full access. They should only, it should be hidden. Basically, if you do this kind of thing, that means the data is there for them to view, but they cannot do anything. They have some limited access to it. If you do locked means they can view the data, but they cannot change anything in that particular sheet or anything in that particular model. Similarly, all types of functionalities are there. Sometimes what happens? They want the version to be locked, but that the nodes should be visible. We will do this when we understand the models. When we try to build a standard sheet, try to build cube sheet, we will understand what are nodes and what are these particular things that needs to be visible. But ideally, it is advisable to keep this full access thing only for all the things. Now, if you just scroll down, you will see certain things which are important when you are building versions. Start of plan is one thing, end of plan is one thing, and left school limit is one thing. I will just explain you with this example. This is a sheet, P&L sheet in this particular, and this is the working budget. In this, that's the version. In this sheet, if you see it is starting from January 2021, correct? Let's try and check for working budget. What are the settings that they have done that you will understand? Let's say working budget is this. Can you see start of plan is 1/1/2021? That means you have selected something here which should be the start of plan in your sheet. This is the model that you have built. The first one that you can see is this particular thing, right? If you go and change it to Feb 2021, in this particular thing, let's try to change it to 1, 2 and save it the start of plan, and we will change it later on again. I will just go on this and just refresh the sheet. It's still reflecting. I don't know why, but ideally it is not got it. I got your point because it is stating you that for this version it should be from this particular year. Basically, I think this version is locked. Maybe I don't know. Similarly, I think it is locked. That's why. Similarly, end of plan is F5 2022. That means if the sheet is starting from that, it should be there till 2022 only. That is the meaning for that. Start of plan and end of plan, you get a decision. Suppose you are making for practice budget 23. What should be the start of plan and end of plan? You can decide here. I want this only for 2023. This is my settings. I understood that my start of plan should be this and my end of plan should be this. I will just save it. And left school limit is basically when. Once you start on the screen, basically you can see that in working budget, you will see that F5 2020 is there. That's why you are getting this column at the start, that this is the data that is reflecting from. Basically, it gives you the idea of what happened last year in the last year, and then you can plan it accordingly for this version. Every version will have this settings, which you will have to make sure you do it. Now settings. You can see, if you scroll right from up to bottom, you can see this is highlighted in bold. Can you notice? This is highlighted in bold. That is because it is by default. Click created as this default version. What does this mean is whenever an end user, suppose you have built several versions here and you have built several models here, whenever I will log in the system and I will open the Pearl system by default, this will be that version that will be coming, which is the bold one. Anything and everything that you will open the end user, he will directly jump in. This version, got it? That's the meaning of the version default. Usually this is a good feature to give because sometimes what happens if there is end users. They are not highly educated enough, or to know what kind of level, or they will be getting confused of what is level, what is version, because they don't have all the people will not have the understanding of adaptive planning. Only thing they will know is this is our Excel file and I just have to come and enter the data. They will forget to check on Mumbai. They will forget to check on the version. They will directly come and enter the data. What happens is, suppose I am the user for Mumbai. For me, only Mumbai is visible and budget version is visible by default. These things are not visible for me. What will happen? This sheet will automatically pop up for me and I will just go and enter the data. That's it. They don't have to do anything. That's why this default functionality is very beautiful and it should be used. The second is audit trail. Basically, it will have every information tracker for you and a record whatever changes you made in the data. And that is how you can utilize. If you delete a version by mistake, you can tell the Workday that we have enabled the audit trail for that, and you can give us the recovery thing. That is how you utilize those options. Now the last thing is actuals overlay. You can see overlay includes a version for overlay. What I'm trying to say is, in any sheet, you will plan from January some year or something. But for that planning, you require the actual data also. Correct. The actual data should be reflecting here in the sheet. It should be reflecting in green. Correct which version we were there. Let's say working budget. That is the reason why we have to select actuals overlay, because you need that previous data coming from somewhere. Here from the actual version, and it is reflecting in green. If I just enable the month also here for 5 to 20, let me see if it changes and we get the data in green if it is done for this. Yes, it is done. Can you see? The data is all in green. This means that in this sheet, in this version, we have utilized the actuals overlay function, where you can get the data from actuals also, and you can display the data from this version also. You get both the data in the same template. Basically, you don't have to switch the versions. Go back to actual version and do that, because in the same version, if they want both the data to be displayed, it is very good feature, right? That's why this feature is there. Actually, overlay that we need to enable in the system. The last you can see this lock leading completion day and through. I would like to explain this. When we complete the sheets later on, and you will definitely understand it much better with the help of an example. But now, as of movement, we have created this practice budget version, and this is a similar way of creating or deleting new version. There is another feature of generate printable view, and basically, if you click, all the versions will be downloaded for your reference. And if you do this, export version access, That means all of this will be downloaded for all the versions. Basically, if this version has access to administrator, has access to users, whatever you will require, it's there in the export version access thing, far clear. I'll just click on this. This is how we've completed the first exercise of levels. Now it's in this hierarchy. The second exercise we did was about your level attributes, where we did this particular thing, and then we attached the continent to it. We created this continent here, and we added the attribute value, and this attribute is then used to tag here in the Azure thing, which you can see in the level attributes thing. The third thing we saw was the currency and exchange rates, which is by default created in here. We have standard currencies. It is there in the system. You just need to remember the currency code for each currency, that whenever you use the input template, it is you tag it to the correct currency, because otherwise it will show you errors. And then the custom currency also was there, and then the exchange rate of our average and which we can upload in here in this particular exchange rates. The final thing was our version, where we created a practice version, and we understood how we can control the access and how we can control the data that can be visible. And we did it with this panel sheet example for your reference, and we covered that how the green actual data is coming when we use the actual overlay. And this is the data that is coming in red black, which means that it is a data belonging to working budget. Working budget. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.